This dark, crumbly soil right here is one of the most powerful natural fertilizers you can use in your garden, and this entire harvest took less than 1 minute. No machines, no chemicals, just worms doing the work. In this video, you'll get a quick, real look at how worm castings are harvested and why gardeners swear by this stuff. Welcome back to the Garden Sage, where we keep gardening simple, natural, and practical. If you're new here, this channel is all about real garden methods that actually work, from composting and soil health to growing better plants without overcomplicating things. Today, I'm showing you a 1-minute worm casting harvest. I'll walk you through what finished castings look like, how they're separated from the worms, and how you can use them safely in your own garden. Whether you're running a worm bin at home or just curious about vermicomposting, this quick breakdown will make the process easy to understand. If you enjoy learning simple organic gardening techniques like this, make sure to subscribe to the Garden Sage and turn on notifications. New videos come out regularly, and each one is focused on helping you grow healthier plants with less effort. And if you find this video useful, hit the like button. It really helps the channel reach more gardeners who want to grow naturally. Worm castings are often called black gold in gardening, but what really makes them special is how natural and balanced they are. Simply put, worm castings are the material left behind after worms break down organic matter. As they eat food scraps and bedding, they process that material through their digestive system and transform it into something plants can use more easily. Unlike synthetic fertilizers, worm castings release nutrients slowly. That means plants can absorb what they need over time instead of getting hit with a sudden nutrient spike. This makes them gentle on plants and suitable for many types of gardens, including vegetables, flowers, and indoor plants. Another important benefit is soil structure. Castings help improve how soil holds moisture and air. Healthy soil isn't just about nutrients, it's also about creating an environment where roots can grow freely and beneficial microorganisms can thrive. It's also worth mentioning that worm castings don't replace good gardening habits. They work best as part of a balanced approach that includes proper watering, sunlight, and healthy soil management. Think of them as a soil booster, not a magic solution. In this video, the focus isn't on selling an idea, but on showing you what worm castings actually look like when they're ready, and how they're harvested in a simple, practical way. Once you see the process, it becomes much less mysterious and a lot more approachable. One of the most common questions people ask is, how do I know when my worm castings are ready to harvest? The answer comes down to observation more than timing. Every worm bin is different depending on temperature, moisture, food input, and worm population. Finished worm castings usually look dark brown or nearly black. The texture is crumbly, similar to moist coffee grounds or rich garden soil. At this stage, most of the original food scraps are no longer recognizable. If you still see large pieces of food, that material needs more time. Smell is another good indicator. Healthy, finished castings should have an earthy smell, like forest soil after rain. A strong or unpleasant odor can signal excess moisture or unfinished decomposition, which means it's better to wait before harvesting. You'll also notice worm activity patterns. When food becomes limited in one area, worms naturally move towards fresher material. This behavior is what makes simple harvesting methods effective and low stress for the worms. Rushing the harvest doesn't help. Harvesting too early can remove material that hasn't fully broken down yet, reducing its usefulness in the garden. Taking a little extra time allows the worms to finish their work and keeps the system balanced. By learning to recognize these signs, you avoid guesswork and create a smoother harvesting process, one that works with the worms instead of against them. The 1-minute harvest method is less about speed and more about simplicity. It works because it follows the worm's natural behavior instead of forcing separation through complex tools or handling. The process starts by moving finished castings to one side of the bin. On the opposite side, fresh bedding and food are added. Over time, worms migrate towards the new food source, leaving the older, finished castings behind. This migration happens naturally and helps keep worms safe during harvesting. Once most of the worms have moved, the finished section can be scooped out easily. Because the material is already processed, it separates cleanly and doesn't require aggressive sifting. This makes the actual harvest quick, often taking less than a minute once the setup is complete. Lighting can also help. Worms instinctively move away from bright light, so exposing castings briefly can encourage remaining worms to move downward, allowing you to remove the top layer safely. This method is especially helpful for home gardeners because it reduces stress on both the worms and the person maintaining the bin. There's no rush, no complicated equipment, and no unnecessary disturbance. By letting biology do the work, harvesting becomes a routine task rather than a chore, quick, clean, and easy to repeat. Protecting the worms during harvesting is just as important as collecting clean castings. Healthy worms are the foundation of a productive bin, and careful handling ensures the system continues to work long-term. When harvesting, it's normal to find a few worms mixed with the castings. These can be gently picked out by hand and returned to the bin. Taking a moment to do this helps maintain the population and prevents accidental loss. Avoid drying out the castings while harvesting. Worms and beneficial microorganisms both rely on moisture. If the material becomes too dry, activity slows and quality can decline. Keeping castings slightly moist preserves their structure and usefulness. It's also important not to over-harvest. Leaving some finished material behind helps maintain microbial balance in the bin and gives worms a familiar environment to continue working in. Harvesting should feel calm and controlled, not rushed. If the worms seem overly active or stressed, pausing and adjusting lighting or moisture can make a big difference. By respecting the worm's needs, you're not just harvesting castings, you're maintaining a living system that continues to produce healthy material over time. Once harvested, worm castings can be used in several simple ways. They can be sprinkled around the base of plants, mixed into garden soil, or blended into potting mixes. Because they're gentle, they work well for seedlings and established plants alike. Castings can also be used to make compost tea by steeping them in water. This creates a liquid that can be applied to soil or leaves, offering a mild nutrient boost. As with any garden input, moderation matters. More is not always better. Storage is another consideration. Castings should be kept in a breathable container, slightly moist and out of direct sunlight. This helps preserve beneficial organisms and keeps the material usable longer. It's important to remember that worm castings support plant health, but they don't replace good gardening practices. Healthy growth still depends on proper light, water, and overall soil care. By understanding how to harvest and use castings responsibly, you turn waste into a valuable resource and close the loop in your garden system. Simple methods like this show how small actions can lead to healthier soil and more resilient plants over time. And that's the full process. A simple, natural way to harvest worm castings without stress, tools, or shortcuts. It's not about rushing the worms or forcing results. It's about working with the system and letting nature do most of the work. If this helped you understand how worm castings are harvested, or if it gave you confidence to try it yourself, that's exactly what this video was meant to do. Here on The Garden Sage, the goal is to share practical gardening methods that are realistic, sustainable, and easy to follow. No hype, no exaggerated claims, just real results over time. If you enjoyed this video, consider liking it and subscribing to The Garden Sage for more content on composting, soil health, and natural gardening. And if you have questions or want to see a deeper video on worm bins, harvesting methods, or using castings in the garden, drop a comment below. Thanks for spending a few minutes here today. Take care of your soil, and it will take care of your plants. I'll see you in the next video.